Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Cornelius. So in this video we're going to be talking about tuples in Python. In the last video we discussed lists, and I said a list is like a variable that holds multiple value. Now a tuple is exactly the same thing, well, almost exactly the same thing, with one major difference from list. Tuples are immutable. And what does this immutable means? It means it cannot be changed. In the previous video, let me go back to the previous video. We see that we create a list and then we append, which means we add watermelon to this fruits list. We insert at a particular index. We even extended it with another list, all right? And we use some index to add item to it. With tuple, we cannot do that. Once you create it, that's it. All right, you cannot go back to modify it. So that's why we say tuples are immutable. All right, so let's go ahead and see some example. So I'll say my tuple should be equal to, and another difference is in the syntax, right? List is square brackets, tuple is parentheses. So you can have 10, 20, 30, 40. All right, so when you print it, of course you get my tuple. So let's go ahead and print it, and you get 10, 20, 30, 40. Now let me show you something interesting, right? When we were working with lists, the moment you write the name of a list, fruits dot, you can see all these things attached to it, methods and properties, all right, that allow us to manipulate, remove, add something to it, or append. With the case of tuples, it's very different. When you do this, you have very few methods, count and index, all right? You don't have all those append, pop, you don't have them. Why? Because we cannot modify tuples, all right? We cannot modify them. So let's see another example. There are many ways we can create tuples. All right, you can create tuples without parentheses. So let's say nums. Let me create another tuple. You can say 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and when you print nums now, you still get the tuple. So you see 1, 2, 3, 4, but you can see them inside parentheses. This is another way to create a tuple, and you can create a tuple that contains a single element. All right, so let me say greetings. Greetings should be equal to a tuple of hello and hi. Of course, it will contain both. Okay, let me print it out. Print out greetings. So you see hi and hello, but we can remove hi, and with this single hello, but because of this comma, it becomes a tuple. Now when you run it, you still get a tuple down there. All right, so we can access elements inside tuples using index, just like lists. So let's say we have a list of colors, should be equal to, you have red, you have blue, and let's add 2 more, green and yellow. All right, so let's print out the entire color first, colors, and of course we get everything. But you can also print element at the first index. So I'll print colors at index 0. All right, so you get red. We can also print index like we did with lists, starting from the end. So I'll do print colors at -1. So that's the end of the list. All right, so you get yellow. Now we can try to see if we can actually change the value of a tuple. All right, so when we do colors dots, all right, oh sorry, this is a list, not a tuple. A tuple should be parentheses, not square brackets. Immediately I saw those methods, I know that can be a tuple. All right, so you see there's no append, all right, no such thing. There's no insert, there's no such thing. So let's try and use the index directly, right? So say colors index 0 should be equal to purple. All right, and when we try to print it out, what do we get? So we get error. Tuple object does not support item assignment. All right, we cannot modify it. So that's what it's talking about. So when we try to do this, we get an error. All right, so we can also create two separate lists and combine them. All right, we can create two separate lists and combine them. So let me say we have a list containing, okay, we already have a list containing my tuple and norms. All right, so let me create one tuple that holds all of them together. I'll call it numbers. Should be equal to, numbers should be equal to norms, comma, my tuple. All right, and we'll print numbers. So we should see it contain both tuples. All right, so you see 1, 2, 3, 4, and 10, 20, 30, 40. So you can also call this a nested tuple. All right, so we can also create a tuple by repeating items inside it. So I'll say, let's say great. All right, should be equal to hi. Okay, let me put it inside parentheses. I'll say it should be hi or hello. Hello multiplied by 3 times. All right, multiply by 3, and then we'll print hello, print great rather. We'll print great. You get hello, hello, hello. Okay, we just print them outside. We want it to be a tuple. All right, so of course, and now you have it inside a tuple. All right, so let's go back and check those two methods we used earlier, we saw earlier, which are index and count, I think. So we can say, let's bring back norm down here. So I'll bring the norm down here. I'll bring command X, and then we'll bring it down here. Command V. So I'll say print norms dot count. All right, we want it to count. Now to count, what it actually does, let's hover over it. So it returns the number of occurrences of a value. So we want to check how many times did 4 occur in it. All right, so let's add more here. I'll say 5, I'll put another 4, then 7, then another 4. All right, so we want to count how many times did 4 occur inside norms. So you get 3. We got 4 3 times. So we can also print out the index, all right, of a particular element. So I'll say norms dot index. The index of what? Let's print the index of 5. All right. So what's the index of 5? The index of 5 is 4, which is true. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the index of 5 is 4. We can also do what we call unpacking. Excuse me. So we can also unpack a tuple. All right. Unpacking is when you bring out the values a tuple is holding and you spread them out into variables. So say you have a variable like colors. Let's bring colors down here. All right. Or you know what? I don't delete all of this. I don't need them. So we delete all of this. We'll use this color. All right. So I'll say color 1. Color 1. Let's just do A, comma B, comma B, comma C, comma D. Should be equal to colors. All right. So doing this now, we can now print them separately. So I'll do A, comma B, comma C, comma D. So when you do that, you see the first time we printed colors here, we printed together as a tuple. But now bringing it out and separating them inside a variable, you now have them individually, separately outside. All right. And you can also create a tuple. You can bring out multiple values into a single variable. All right. So let's create another numbers here. I'll say norms should be equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. So we say x should be equal to, okay, let's do x comma, the bulk of the numbers, then we do y. So to specify that bulk that we want, we put an asterisk behind it. So we'll say it should be equal to nums. All right. So now when you print first, or let's say x, sorry, then you print bulk, and then you print y. Right. So when you run the program now, you see x was assigned to the value of 1, y was given 6, but the bulk contains 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So we can also use it with dictionaries, although I know we've not talked about dictionaries, but okay, let's not talk about dictionaries. We'll talk about only lists. All right. We can put tuples inside lists. Okay, so let's create a list of students. Students should be equal to a list, and the list contains tuples. All right. So the first student is Sam. His age is 19, and he studies physics. He studies physics. We have a second student, which is also a tuple. His name is John. He's 20, and he studies maths. All right. So now you can print out the list, of course. So we do students. So now you have the two tuples, but we can go inside it to bring out the values the way we want. All right. So I'll say for name, we want the names, the name of the students, for name and the age, then the subject, then subject in students. All right. So what do we want? We want to bring it out and use them. So I'll say f string name is age, years old, and studies subject. All right. So when you print it now, you see we have unpacked the whole value outside. You have Sam is 19 years old and studies physics. It should be physics, not physic. So Sam is 19 years old and studies physics. John is 20 years old and he studies maths. All right. So we can also check elements inside the tuple. We can check elements inside the tuple, and we do. Let me create a list of a tuple of names. So I'll say names should be equal to Sam and Paul and Steve. All right. So we have that. We can now say is Steve print Sam in names. Sam in names. And now when we use the in keyword, it returns true. So Sam is in names, so we got true. If I should say Sammy, of course there is no Sammy, so it will be false. All right. So we can also do something called zipping. So let's zip. Let me add one more tuple down here. So I'll say their age. I'll say Sam is 80, Paul is 90, and Steve is 100. All right. So we can now zip. So we'll say for pair. Let's use pair in zip. All right. For pair in zip, we want to zip names and the age together. So say names, comma, ages. All right. So we want to print the pair, each pair. And now when we run the program, you should see Sam mapped to int is not an iterable. What's going on? Oh, sorry, ages. I wrote ages, then I put age. All right. So now you see we have a pair of Sam 80, Paul 90, then Steve is 100. So that's all for this video. If you learn a lot from this video, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. It helps me a lot. That's all for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.